Hello, everybody. Drought relief is on the way, and as a matter of fact, we might even see some severe weather in southwest Ohio. Let's talk about how much rain we could receive and when we might expect more rain to return. Hello, everybody. The time is 4:12 p.m. and it is June 10th. Welcome to another update from Great Lakes Weather. Hopefully, everybody is doing well today. This is going to be a quick video just outlining the severe weather threat we have in southwest Ohio. It doesn't really look like a big one, but still could prompt just something to watch out for. So, southwest Ohio, we'll see the potential for thunderstorms tomorrow, and then also some rain potential across all of Michigan and Indiana, which is desperately needed. So, we're going to get right to that right now. Make sure to subscribe to stay updated for future updates in regards to the weather that is going on all across Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and the surrounding areas. Here we are with the Storm Prediction Center's update for tomorrow. This is the Day 2 Convective Outlook, June 10th, or as of June 10th, so June 11th. This is when this activity will begin to start up. You can see that there's a marginal risk for severe weather across Ohio and southern Indiana. Now, what is that threat for? Not really looking at tornadoes according to the Storm Prediction Center. I'm going to talk about exactly what it looks like in terms of the threat for severe weather across parts of Indiana and Ohio. They might expand the tornado risk. We'll have to see what they decide in regards to the latest models. But here we have that 5% risk for damaging winds across parts of southern Indiana, parts of Ohio as well. That's going to be kind of just settling over that region. And then we also have a little bit of hail potential across southern Indiana. So that's what is comprising this threat setup. Let's see what it looks like on the models real quick. All right, here you have the HRRR. This is the as of the current time. Actually, let's go to the current time. This is about 4 p.m. right here. You can see that there's some thunderstorms likely ongoing across parts of Wisconsin, Minnesota. What you're going to notice here is that you're going to see some development of some rainfall across this area during the evening. This is all based on a cold front that is moving into the region with a low pressure system that is dipping its way into the area. So you can see that the rainfall begins to kind of decrease in intensity but increase in coverage as we go through Sunday night. You can see it starts to flow into parts of Michigan, and as a lot of you know, Michigan is in desperate need of rainfall, especially Ohio also more needs the rainfall. It is a very dry time across parts of the Great Lakes region. Has a lot to do with the intensifying El Nino pattern that is going on across the Pacific Ocean. So you see that this rainfall will kind of begin to increase in coverage as we get into Sunday morning. This is at about 8 a.m. You can see it's pretty much raining anywhere in some places north of Grand Rapids. You can see that there's some little heavier pockets here and there. You can see the low pressure system that's lifting in from the southwest following along with this front that is moving into the area. You can see that it becomes widespread by Sunday afternoon across southwest lower Michigan. You can see thunderstorms beginning to develop across parts of southern Indiana. Get a sounding of this region. You don't really have a possible hazard type showing up, but you do have instability in the atmosphere a little bit. Temperatures in the 70s. Again, we're not in the prime time for thunderstorm activity at this time. This is still kind of in the morning. The time when the storms will start to take off is more along the lines of the afternoon. You can see that right down here. There's a few more cell clusters popping up. You're seeing that marginal severe potential. Cape value is about 1,000. A little bit of storm relativity and surface level Cape is present there as well. There is some slight directional shear at the surface, and then there's decent speed shear connected with this setup as well. So progressing forward, you can see the storms may organize into a more linear MCS type setup, kind of a smaller MCS in this region. Cape value is about 1,500 across this region that is ahead of the main line of storms, and then there's also thunderstorms that will develop across parts of southern Indiana. Now, storms farther to the south could have the possibility of producing some weak tornadoes, so that's something to be watching out for within that region as well. But that is what is currently on the table. This line could organize and potentially produce some damaging winds, maybe some hail, maybe a possible spin up, but that is likely something we should not expect with this setup. So thunderstorms expected anywhere south of, I'd say, I-70. If you know where that is the interstate going through Dayton and then west to east. So that is really kind of what is on the table. Now, looking at the severe weather dynamics for this event, this is showing at 3 p.m. kind of what is the setup for this event. Surface-based Cape values, again, in the 1,000s across parts of southwest Ohio, southern Indiana, and that's why that marginal risk kind of settles in that region where the instability is located. Supercell composite values, again, you've got supercell potential across southern Indiana, southwest Ohio, and storm relative felicity. There is going to be a little bit of felicity in the atmosphere ahead of these storms that will be moving through. You notice this strong band of storm relative felicity here. This really won't amount to much given the fact that the greater instability is farther to the south. So that's just something to point out there. Looking like the main stronger storms will stay farther to the south. And it's really going to be just rainfall across parts of Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, which is something that we desperately need. So it definitely makes sense or it's definitely a good thing we're seeing this on the table because the drought is present across parts of Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and the places that are going to be hit by rain are the places getting more heavily impacted by the drought at this time. You can see that much of the Great Lakes region is in an abnormally dry to moderate drought pattern, and looking out farther west in parts of Missouri, you can see that they're even dealing with extreme drought conditions across that region. Again, the grass is brown in my yard and in some other places. There's some places in southern Michigan that did see some thunderstorms that brought some hail damage and some wind damage even to parts of Marshall, Michigan. But those did not really drop much rain across a broader region. Just a very localized area received rainfall during that day. I chased that last week. But looking like we'll start to see at least some improvement in regards to our drought conditions, but not much. And according to the Euro models, as we get towards June 20th, 10 days from now, you can see that this is how much rain we're expecting across the Great Lakes region. You notice some of those drought-ridden areas such as western Indiana, southern lower Michigan aren't really going to see too much rainfall. Okay, so it's not really going to put too much of a dent in the abnormally dry pattern that we've been seeing. Ohio looking like they could get some more decent rainfall with 2 to 3 inches of rainfall across that area, so might really help in relieving some of those drought concerns that are down there. But you can see that there's a pretty dry spot across much of Michigan and Indiana through the next 10 days. So there will be little brief shots of rain, showers, maybe a few thunderstorms here and there, but it doesn't really look like there's going to be enough to fully take care of any drought issues that we have been facing over the past several days. So that's just something to watch out for. Temperatures over the next several days really going to look kind of similar, except as you get into Monday, you are going to see a drop in temperatures resulting from that low pressure system that's going to be wrapping down into the Great Lakes region. Temperatures won't get above 70 on Monday and possibly not even on Tuesday. So you can kind of see that depiction on the models. Unless you're down in southern Indiana, southern Ohio, you'll get temperatures back in the 70s. But this low will keep things cool across Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio on Monday and Tuesday. And then as we start to get back into the later days, you can see that things begin to warm up, especially in southern Indiana and southern Ohio, where temperatures could get close to 90 and will make things rather warm across that region. If we go to what it would look like in terms of the heat index, we can take a look once my internet updates this real quick. But heat index might change what it looks like in terms of the temperature and humidity values included and factored into this, what it feels like outside. So if we go to Thursday, when that heat really takes off across parts of the region, you can see that it is still going to kind of be a dry heat, not really too much to heat up the air that is going to be connected to this. So temperatures will still be feeling like the upper 80s. So positive news in that regard, but it does look like a heat wave may start to surge its way up into parts of the Central Plains, but it won't get up in this area. And also, one other thing I want to touch on, El Nino. El Nino still continues to intensify. There is now reported a 56% chance that we will have a strong El Nino stage by the end of the year. So we will be dealing with El Nino patterns. As a reminder, what El Nino does is it's a heat up of the Pacific Ocean, and it also causes the air at the surface to rise, and that rising air creates stronger air pressure aloft, and that also creates stronger winds or stronger jet streams. The Pacific jet stream in particular is much stronger, and that strengthens right around this region here, and that also decreases the chance of hurricanes throughout the hurricane season, but it also decreases our chance of rainfall and makes it a relatively warmer pattern for the Great Lakes region, which is what we've been seeing over the past couple of months. So that's still intensifying across parts of the Pacific Ocean, and that is going to have an impact on our weather for what looks to be an extended period of time. So that's all from me for this week. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this information was helpful to you. Make sure to subscribe and more information will come. And whenever the next opportunity presents itself for some storm chasing, hopefully I'll be able to get on it. I won't be able to get on much throughout the next 3 weeks of June. I'm going to be pretty busy, so likely not going to be the case. But thanks to all for watching, and I will see you all a little later.